chosen one. Stop. Don't scroll. Don't look away. What you're feeling right now, that restlessness you can't explain, that quiet ache sitting behind your chest like something unfinished, that is why you're here. You didn't find this video. This video found you. And I need you to understand something before we go 1 second further. There is a fire alarm going off inside your soul right now. Not outside, inside. And you've been walking past it for months, maybe years, telling yourself it's nothing, telling yourself you're just tired, telling yourself it's too late anyway. But what if that alarm is God? What if the restlessness isn't anxiety? What if it's a summons? There's a letter that has been sitting on the table of your life, marked urgent, sealed with heaven's own hand. And somewhere along the way, between the grief, the disappointment, the years that moved faster than your dreams, you left it unopened. Not because you didn't care, because part of you was afraid of what it said. Hear me clearly. You are not late because you are old. You are not late because you failed. You are not late because God forgot you. You are late because heaven has been knocking and the noise of life got too loud to hear it. There's a train that has been sitting in a dark station, engine running, doors open, waiting on one passenger. That passenger is you. And tonight, right now, in this moment, the conductor is leaning out, looking down the platform and calling your name for the last time. Your urgency is not panic, it is recognition. Something deep inside you, older than your doubts, stronger than your regrets, knows the hour has changed. And you feel it, don't you? If this message found you at the right moment, type these words right now. I will not ignore this. Stay with me to the end. Because what feels like being too late may be the very proof that God has been preparing something bigger than you ever dared to believe. Let me ask you something nobody else has had the courage to ask you. When you wake up in the morning, before the coffee, before the noise, before you put on the face you wear for everyone else, what is the very first thing you feel? Not think. Feel. Because for a lot of you, that first feeling isn't peace. It's weight, a heaviness that has no name, a quiet grief that sits on your chest before the day even begins. And you've gotten so good at carrying it that you almost don't notice it anymore. Almost. You've been strong for so long that strength became your whole identity. You kept going when others stopped. You gave when you had nothing left to give. You held families together with bare hands and borrowed faith. You buried people you loved. You swallowed tears in church pews and smiled anyway. And somewhere in all of that surviving, you stopped asking what happened to your own season. Let me name something for you right now. You didn't just lose years. You lost a version of yourself. There were dreams you folded up quietly and placed in a drawer somewhere around your 40s. Callings you heard clearly in your 30s that got buried under responsibility, under other people's emergencies, under the sheer weight of just keeping life moving. There are shoes sitting by the door of your soul that were never worn. A journey you packed for but never took. And now you look in the mirror, and the question you're afraid to ask God out loud is this: is it too late for me? Don't answer too fast. Sit with that question, because that question is holy. I want you to think about Moses. Moses didn't begin his assignment until he was 80 years old. 80. By every human measure, the man was finished before he started. His best years were gone. His confidence was broken. He was tending sheep in the wilderness, not leading nations, not parting seas, just surviving. And God showed up in a burning bush and said, now. Not then, not in your youth, now. I want you to think about Sarah. Sarah laughed when God told her she would carry life. Not because she was joyful, because it seemed so impossible it was almost cruel. She was old. Her body had long since given up on that promise, and yet Isaac came anyway. Late, impossible, real. I want you to think about Joseph. 13 years in the pit and the prison. 13 years of silence while the promise sat dormant. 13 years of wondering if the dream was a lie. And then, in a single morning, everything changed. The field looked barren, but the seed was never dead. That is the pattern heaven uses. Chosen one. Not early, not convenient, not when it makes sense to the watching world. Late, precisely, powerfully, on purpose. And here is what nobody tells you about wilderness seasons. The wilderness is not punishment. The wilderness is preparation. Every year you spent in obscurity was a year God was building something in you that comfort never could have built. Every prayer that seemed to go unanswered was pressure forming something underground that has not yet broken the surface. You are not a barren field. You are a field that still carries seed. But here is what I need you to hear most deeply right now. The grief you have been carrying, that quiet, unnamed sorrow that follows you from room to room, it is not only about what you lost, it is about what is still trying to live inside you. That restlessness you felt this morning, that is not depression. That is not aging. That is not regret running its natural course. That is a calling that refused to die. There is an old lamp inside you, chosen one, and it still contains oil. The world looked at that lamp and said, too old, too tired, too late. But God is looking at that same lamp right now and saying, light it. You have been faithful through things that would have destroyed people half your age. You have endured losses that left scars nobody sees. You have kept believing when belief cost you everything and gave you nothing visible in return. That is not the biography of someone God is finished with. That is the biography of someone God has been preparing for something that requires exactly that kind of depth. Moses needed 80 years of living before he could carry the weight of a nation's freedom. And beloved, so did you. You are not only grieving your past, you are grieving the version of you that has been waiting to emerge. And that version, the one heaven sees right now, is more powerful, more anointed, and more necessary than anything you carried in your youth. If you've ever felt like life moved past, you type it right now. God still has time for me. Say it like you mean it. Say it like your life depends on it. Because what comes next in this message is going to show you exactly why God waited until now, and why the emergency is not that you are too late. The emergency is that you are finally ready. Before I go any further, I need to say something that maybe nobody has said to you in a long time. God is not angry with you. He is not disappointed. He is not done. And he is absolutely, completely, undeniably not finished with your story. But here is what nobody tells you. There is a cost to sleeping through a holy transition. Not the cost of punishment, not the cost of shame, the cost of missing the moment when everything was about to change and not even knowing you missed it. That is the real emergency. You have been reading your own life through the wrong story. And I say that not to wound you. I say it because I have watched too many chosen ones, people just like you, sit in the wreckage of misinterpretation, carrying pain that was never meant to be a verdict. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. What have you called the silence? Because I know what most people call it. They call it rejection. They call it abandonment. They sit in the quiet of a season where God stopped talking the way he used to, and they decided it meant he had moved on without them. But what if the silence was not rejection? What if the silence was formation? A surgeon does not leave a room open while healing happens. He closes it. He controls the environment. He removes distraction. He creates the exact conditions necessary for restoration to take place, and from the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. From the inside, everything is happening. What about the closed doors? You knocked, you believed, you prepared, and the door did not open. And somewhere in that moment, a voice whispered, "See, you were never chosen. See, you were never enough." But what if that door was not a verdict? What if it was protection? Proverbs 16:9 says, A man plans his course, but the Lord establishes his steps. God will redirect you before he lets you walk into a room that would have diminished you. Sometimes the closed door is not God saying no to your future. It is God saying, not that way, not yet, not without what I'm still building in you. And the loneliness. Oh, I know this one cuts deep, especially for those of you who have watched relationships fall away, who have felt the room get quieter as the years went on, who have sat on a Sunday afternoon and felt the specific, heavy silence of feeling completely alone in a crowd. You called it worthlessness, but what if it was separation for clarity? What if God had to thin the room so you could finally hear what he had been trying to say over the noise of everyone else's opinion of your life? Even Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane went a little further than the disciples. He did not bring the crowd into his deepest moment. Some things are only shaped in solitude. And the delay, this is the one that has broken the most faith. You prayed, you waited, you prayed again, and nothing came. And the years stacked up like unanswered letters, and you started to believe that maybe the promise had an expiration date and yours had passed. But hear this, Romans 8:28 does not say some things work together for good. It says all things, every delay, every detour, every silent year that felt like God had simply forgotten your address. A bridge being built in the fog still holds weight when the fog lifts. You could not see the construction. That does not mean construction was not happening. So let me ask you the question that changes everything. If God was not abandoning you, then what exactly has he been doing all this time? The answer is this. He has been building something in you that could not be built in comfort. He has been growing roots in you that only grow where no applause can reach. He has been shaping you the way a potter covers the clay, not to hide it, but to keep the outside world from interfering with the work only his hands can do. The emergency is not that God is late. The emergency is that you may still be interpreting your life through the wrong story. And a wrong story will keep you parked in a season that has already ended. You are not in a waiting room. You are in a preparation room. And there is a difference that will change the way you breathe for the rest of your life. Before we go any further, make this personal. Whisper it right now, or type it where you can see it. God, show me what I misnamed. Because the moment you stop calling the silence rejection, the moment you stop calling the delay abandonment, something shifts. Something unlocks. Something that has been holding its breath inside you finally exhales. And that exhale? That is the beginning of what comes next. Because what God has been building in the hidden place is about to break into the open, and you are going to want to be awake when it does. You need to hear this. Every year that felt wasted, every door that slammed shut, every prayer that seemed to dissolve into silence before it even reached the ceiling, God was not absent. God was working. And what he was doing in that delay, what he was really doing, is the thing nobody told you. The thing that would have changed everything if you had understood it sooner. So let me tell you now. Layer 1. He was pruning you. John 15:2. Jesus said it plainly. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes so that it bears more fruit. Not punishes, not abandons. Prunes. You know what pruning looks like from the outside. It looks like loss. It looks like the gardener taking a blade to the very thing that was growing. It looks like destruction. But the gardener knows something the branch doesn't. Some of what you were holding on to, those relationships that drained you for years, that identity you borrowed from other people's expectations, that version of yourself built entirely on what others needed you to be, it was not fruit. It was weight. And God, in his mercy, cut it away. Not because he was punishing you, but because he could see what you couldn't, that you were spending everything you had, feeding branches that were never going to bear anything. He removed people from your life that you grieved like family. He closed doors you begged him to open. He stripped away the familiar until all that was left was the raw, undecorated truth of who you actually are. That wasn't cruelty, chosen one. That was love with a blade in its hand. Layer 2. He was protecting you. This one is going to hit differently. Some of the doors God kept closed. You thought it was rejection. You thought heaven had turned its back. You spent nights replaying what you could have done differently. But hear this. God was not keeping you out. God was keeping you safe. Proverbs 3-5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." Because here is what your understanding could not see, where that open door led. Who was waiting on the other side? What that opportunity would have cost you at the version of yourself you were back then. You were not ready. Not because you were weak, but because what God had assigned to you required a depth you hadn't developed yet. And if He had let you walk through that door unprepared, you would have been exposed, overwhelmed, and broken by the very blessing you prayed for. The shepherd doesn't reroute the flock to be difficult. He reroutes them because he can see the cliff the sheep cannot. Layer 3. He was deepening you. Pain that has no meaning destroys a person. But pain with purpose builds something inside a human soul that nothing else in this world can manufacture. Romans 5:3-4. Paul writes it like a staircase. Suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character. Character produces hope. Every season that broke your heart was building your discernment. Every betrayal was teaching you the difference between people who are assigned to your life and people who are only passing through it. Every night you cried without knowing why was deepening your compassion, making it real, making it costly, making it the kind of compassion that can actually reach another human being in their darkest hour. You cannot manufacture that in a classroom. You cannot download it from a sermon. It only comes from having walked through the fire yourself and choosing, against everything inside you, not to become bitter. God was not wasting your pain. He was turning it into wisdom. And wisdom, chosen one, is the one thing that cannot be taken from you. Layer 4. He was repositioning you. This is the layer that will finally make the geography of your life make sense. The moves that confused you. The seasons that felt like exile. The places you left. The places that left you. They were not accidents. God was shifting your environment because your assignment was never in the place where you were merely tolerated. You were placed in rooms where you were useful but never celebrated. Situations where you gave everything but were never truly seen. And slowly, quietly, without announcing itself, God began detaching your desires from those places. He changed what you wanted. He altered what felt like home. He made you restless in rooms that once felt comfortable, because comfort was keeping you from your calling. Isaiah 43:19. I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, do you not perceive it? He was repositioning you for an assignment that required exactly who you have become through every single thing you survived. Now ask yourself this question and sit with it. If every layer of that delay was preparation, what exactly are you being prepared for right now? Because this is the truth that changes everything. What looked like delay was the mercy of God refusing to let you enter your next chapter as the same broken version of yourself. He was not slow. He was not silent. He was not careless with your life. He was building you. And if you can finally see purpose in what once felt pointless, write it right now. Type it where you can see it. He was preparing me. Because what comes next in this message is the part heaven has been waiting for you to be ready to receive. And chosen one, you are finally ready. Let me ask you something. When was the last time something that used to bring you joy just didn't anymore? Not because you changed your mind, not because life got harder, but because something deeper inside you quietly said this is no longer enough. That is not depression, chosen one. That is a divine signal. And right now, I want to walk through something with you. Something most people are too busy or too afraid to admit out loud. Because if any of what I'm about to say sounds familiar, you are not losing your mind. You are standing at the edge of the most important threshold of your life. You wake up and the things that used to fill you feel hollow now. The noise that everyone else seems comfortable with, it grates against you. Conversations that once felt easy now feel heavy, misaligned, almost dishonest. You find yourself pulling away, not out of bitterness, but out of a hunger you cannot fully name. You are noticing small things more intensely. A sunrise, a scripture you have read 100 times, suddenly hitting different. A quiet moment that feels more alive than a room full of people. You keep getting pulled toward prayer, toward solitude, toward something true, and you are tired. Not just physically tired, you are tired of pretending, tired of performing a version of yourself that stopped fitting years ago. Does that sound familiar? Because the Bible knew this feeling long before you did. Isaiah 43:19 says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?" God does not ask if you are ready. He asks if you can perceive it. Can you feel it right now? Here is what nobody tells you about this season of life. They will tell you to slow down. They will tell you to be grateful for what was. They will hand you a rocking chair when God is handing you a calling. But hear me, mature seasons carry the clearest assignments. Moses was 80 years old when God stopped him at the burning bush. Not 20, not 40, 80. Abraham received his greatest promise when his body said impossible, and God said, "Watch me." Anna the prophetess spent decades in the temple, fasting, praying, waiting, and it was in her final season that she laid eyes on the Messiah himself. Do not let anyone tell you this stirring is foolish because of your age. Your age is not your limitation, it is your qualification. Now let me tell you what the enemy wants you to believe right now. He wants you to call this restlessness a midlife crisis, a senior moment, nostalgia, irrelevance. He wants you to scroll past this moment, the same way you have scrolled past the knocking on your door for years. But I want you to stop and sit in this question. What if everything you have survived, every loss, every disappointment, every night you cried and nobody came, was not punishment? What if it was preparation? What if the weight you have been carrying was never meant to break you, but to build the exact strength required for what comes next? Old dreams are resurfacing, aren't they? Things you buried, callings you dismissed, a version of yourself you quietly grieved. That is not the past haunting you. That is heaven clearing the runway. Right now, you may feel like you are standing barefoot at the edge of cold water before crossing. You can feel the current. You know it is real, but your feet have not moved yet. You hear the sound of keys, but the door has not opened. You see the first gray light of dawn, but the sun has not yet cleared the buildings. You feel the tightening silence of an orchestra a half second before the music begins. That silence is not emptiness. That silence is God saying, "Not yet, but soon. Get ready." So let me ask you the question that will determine everything about your next season. What must you stop doing immediately right now if you do not want to miss this moment? What are you still feeding that is keeping you comfortable in a season God has already closed? What conversation, what habit, what fear, what lie are you still holding on to because letting go feels like falling, when in truth, letting go is the only way forward? Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." He already wrote the next chapter. The only question is whether you will turn the page. You do not feel uncomfortable because you are lost. You feel uncomfortable because your old season no longer fits your true size. You have grown in pain, in faith, in wisdom, in fire, and what once held you cannot hold you anymore. That discomfort is not a warning to stop. It is the sound of something too small finally breaking open. If you know deep in your bones that you have outgrown something that once defined you, type these words right now: "I cannot go back," because where we are going next requires every single thing you just acknowledged. Stay with me, because the question is no longer whether God has a plan for you. The question is, are you willing to stop being late to it? You heard the alarm, you felt it, and yet, here you are, still standing in the hallway, still waiting, still holding back. So let me ask you something that nobody else in your life has had the courage to ask you. Why? Not why in theory, not why in general. Why you? Why still? Why now? Because I've sat with enough people at the edge of their destiny to know this truth. Most people are not late because God went silent. They are late because they kept negotiating with a season that already ended. You are carrying furniture into a house you already moved out of. Think about that. You packed your bags. You know the old address no longer fits. You can feel it in your bones. That place is done. That chapter is finished. Heaven closed that door with its own hand. But every morning you wake up and drag the same worn-out couch back through that door. The same fears, the same excuses, the same reasons why not yet. And you call it wisdom. You call it waiting on God. But beloved, there is a difference between sacred patience and spiritual procrastination dressed up in a prayer shawl. Let me show you what keeping you late actually looks like. It looks like waiting for perfect clarity before you take one step. But Psalm 119 to 105 doesn't say God will illuminate the whole highway. It says your word is a lamp unto my feet. A lamp, not a floodlight, just enough light for the next step. One step. It looks like wanting God's confirmation without your surrender. You want the blessing without releasing the burden. You want the open door without walking away from the familiar prison you've been decorating for years. It looks like loyalty to a former version of yourself that God already buried. You keep mourning who you used to be instead of stepping into who heaven is building you to become. It looks like guilt, the guilt over lost years, decades you can't get back, choices you'd unmake in a heartbeat. And instead of letting the blood of Jesus wash that guilt into the river, you wear it like a coat every single day. You think the weight of your regret proves how seriously you take God. It doesn't. It just keeps you frozen. And then there's this one, the one that hits the hardest. You look in the mirror and you see the number, the age, the gray, the lines, life carved into your face. And somewhere deep in a place you rarely let anyone see, you whisper, maybe I'm just too old for this. Can I tell you something that heaven needs you to hear right now? Abraham was 75 when God said go. Moses was 80 when God said lead. Anna was 84 years old, praying in the temple, when she became the first person to publicly proclaim the Messiah had arrived. God does not retire his chosen ones, he reserves them. The enemy didn't put that thought in your mind to protect you from embarrassment. He put it there to protect himself from what happens when you finally move. Here's what I know about you. You are not stuck because of rebellion. You were never the rebellious one. You are stuck because you are careful, you are thoughtful, you analyze, you consider every angle, you think 3 steps ahead. And those are gifts. But right now, those same gifts have become the very chains around your ankles. You are standing at the gate, bags packed, boarding pass in hand, destination written clearly across the front, and you are still standing there, not because the plane isn't real, not because God didn't speak, but because stepping onto that jetway means letting go of the handrail, and you have been holding that handrail so long your fingerprints are worn into it. Some people are not stuck because God has not spoken. They are stuck because they keep trying to obey without letting go. What happens the moment you finally stop negotiating with the season that is ending? What happens the moment you stop asking for one more sign, one more confirmation, one more reason, and you simply move? I'll tell you what happens. Heaven moves with you. The Red Sea doesn't split while Moses stands on the bank debating the tide. It splits when his staff hits the water. Obedience first, evidence second. That is always how God works. Right now, not after this video, not tomorrow morning, right now, I need you to do something. Identify one thing. Just one. One thing you already know, not suspect, not wonder about. Know that God has been asking you to release. A relationship that ran its season dry. A fear you've been feeding instead of facing. A version of your story you keep rewriting to avoid the ending God already wrote. You know what it is. Type it into existence right now. I release what no longer belongs in my next season. Say it, mean it, let heaven witness it. Because the moment you release what belongs to yesterday, the weight you've been calling your life starts to feel like what it actually is. A preparation. And what God has been preparing you for is bigger than anything the waiting ever cost you. Let me ask you something nobody has been bold enough to ask you lately. How many more years are you willing to spend circling the same mountain? Because here is what I have watched happen to good people, faithful people, chosen people. They don't fall dramatically. They don't crash and burn in some obvious way. They simply drift. Quietly, slowly, one comfortable excuse at a time. And 10 years pass, and they are still waiting. There is a green light at the intersection of your destiny. It has been green for a while now, but you have been sitting at that light engine running, hands on the wheel, telling yourself you need more time, more confirmation, more certainty, more proof. Chosen one, green lights do not stay green forever. And the most heartbreaking thing I have ever witnessed is not someone who failed dramatically. It is someone who waited so long for the perfect moment that the moment quietly moved on without them. Scripture does not say opportunity knocks forever. Ecclesiastes 3 says it plainly. There is a season for everything. A time to act, a time to move, a time to step through the door that heaven has opened. Not next year, not when things calm down, not when you feel completely ready. Now, here is what ignoring this moment actually looks like in real life. You wake up tomorrow the same way you woke up today, carrying that private ache you cannot fully name, that low hum of something unfinished. You tell yourself it is just age. You tell yourself everybody feels this way. But deep down, chosen one, you know that is not true. You have been surviving and calling it wisdom. You have been protecting old wounds and calling it discernment. You have been standing still and calling it patience. But there is a difference between the patience of a farmer waiting for rain and the paralysis of someone who never planted the seed. One is faith. The other is fear dressed in spiritual clothing. And here is where I need you to feel the full weight of this. God's love for you is not in question, not for 1 second. His mercy over your life has not expired. But mercy and seasons are two different things. God's love remains constant, but windows are different. Windows open and windows close. Not in anger, not in punishment, not because God turned his back, but because timing is real. Harvest is real. And a field that was ready in September cannot simply be harvested in December and expect the same yield. Numbers 14 tells the story of an entire generation who stood at the edge of the promised land. God had opened the door, the land was prepared, the promise was confirmed, and they hesitated, they reasoned, they doubted, they delayed, and that generation never crossed over. Not because God stopped loving them, but because the season moved and they did not move with it. Chosen one, I am not telling you this to frighten you. I am telling you this because you deserve the truth more than you deserve comfort. The danger is not that God stops loving you. The danger is that you keep living beneath what heaven has already made available. There is a key in your hand right now, a real key, a spiritual key to the next chapter of your life. And I need you to look at it honestly. Is it being used, or is it rusting? Because a key that never turns the lock is not a treasure, it is a tragedy. You have spent years, maybe decades, waiting for a dramatic sign, a burning bush, a voice from the sky. A miracle so obvious that even your doubts could not argue with it. But what if the sign has already come, and it came quietly? What if the door heaven opened for you does not look like a grand entrance, but like a small, still invitation that has been sitting in front of you, waiting for your yes? What if the reason you feel restless is not because God has forgotten you, but because part of you already knows you have been delaying your own breakthrough? I have sat with men and women in their 70s and 80s who carried one regret louder than all the others. Not the things they did, the things they didn't do, the step they didn't take, the door they didn't walk through, the yes they kept postponing until the season had passed. Do not let that be your story. You are not too old. But you are not guaranteed tomorrow either. And that is not a threat. That is the most loving, honest thing I can say to you today. So right now, before we go any further, if you refuse to carry this same delay into your next season, write it right now in the comments. No more delay. Say it like you mean it. Because heaven is watching what you do with this moment. Because the next question is the one that changes everything. What does moving forward actually look like? What is the very first real step a chosen one takes when they finally decide the waiting is over? Stay with me. That answer is coming, and it will be the most important thing you hear today. You've heard the call. You've felt the urgency. And now the question burning inside you is the same one that has stopped God's people at every threshold in history. How do I move when I don't feel ready? Let me tell you the truth that nobody in your life has had the courage to say out loud. You are never going to feel ready. Not completely, not perfectly, not the way you've been waiting to feel. And here is what heaven needs you to understand right now. Readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision. So let's make that decision together, right here, right now. Step 1. Stop romanticizing the old season. I know it's familiar. I know it's comfortable in a painful kind of way. But beloved, there is a difference between a home and a prison that you've decorated. Bless what that season taught you. Thank God for the survival, for the lessons, for the grace that carried you through it. Then release it. Because Lot's wife looked back at a burning city and turned to salt, not because God was cruel, but because she was still calling destruction home. What are you still calling home that God has already called finished? Step 2. Name what has ended. Not in your head. Out loud. Right now. Some relationships in your life are over, and you know it. Some coping patterns you developed to survive your pain are no longer serving you. They are controlling you. Some version of yourself, the one who shrinks, the one who hides, the one who says, "I'm fine" when you are breaking, that version has expired. Isaiah 43:18 says it plainly, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past." God is not asking you to erase your history. He is commanding you to stop living inside it. Step 3. Return to inner honesty. This is where most people stop, because honesty costs something. You already know what needs to change. You have known for months, maybe years. You don't need another sign. You don't need another confirmation. You don't need another dream, another sermon, another video. The burden you have been carrying is the sign. That heaviness in your chest at 3 inches the morning, that is not insomnia. That is a soul pressing against the walls of a life it has outgrown. Stop pretending you need more information when what you actually need is more courage. Step 4. Take one immediate, obedient action. Not 10. Not a plan. Not a vision board. 1. Have the hard conversation you have been avoiding for 2 years. Create the boundary that everyone around you has been violating. Return to prayer. Not polished prayer, raw prayer. Start the assignment God whispered to you that you wrote off as imagination. Write the vision. Forgive the person. Clean the room. Apply for it. Make the call. Leave what is leaving you. Begin. When the children of Israel stood at the edge of the Jordan River, the waters did not part first. They stepped in first. Joshua 3:13. As soon as the priests who carry the ark step into the water, the river will stop flowing. The miracle was on the other side of the step, not before it. Your breakthrough is not waiting for the conditions to be perfect. Your breakthrough is waiting for your foot to get wet. Step 5. Trust small beginnings. I know you expected fireworks. I know part of you believed that when God finally moved, the whole world would shake and everyone would notice. But most of the time, heaven moves like a key turning quietly in a lock, like a seed breaking open 6 inches underground where no one can see it, like a ship leaving harbor in absolute darkness, long before the sunrise paints the sky. Zechariah 4:10 asks, "Who dares despise the day of small things?" Your next season may begin with something that looks embarrassingly small. A quiet yes, a single step, a whispered prayer that nobody hears but God. Do not despise it. That quiet yes may be the most powerful thing you have ever done. Here is the question I need to leave burning inside you. What changes in the spirit the moment a person finally says yes? Everything. The atmosphere shifts. The assignment activates. Heaven responds. Not because you became perfect, but because you became honest. You do not need to feel fully ready. You need to become fully honest. That is the threshold. That is the door. That is the moment God has been waiting for since before you were born. Before this message ends, and we are not finished yet, not even close, I need you to make one decision. Not someday. Not after you feel better. Not when the circumstances align. Today, decide your first step. Type it right now where everyone can see it. My yes begins now. Because what comes next in this message, what God is about to reveal about why you have been chosen for this specific hour, will only make sense to the person who has already said yes. Stay with me. The most important part is still ahead. Let me tell you something that nobody has said to you plainly enough. You have been carrying a lie, a quiet, suffocating lie that has followed you for years, sitting in the back pew of your mind, whispering the same sentence over and over again. It's too late for you, too late to start over, too late to be used, too late to matter, too late for God to do something extraordinary with what's left of your life. And somewhere between the losses, the setbacks, the birthdays that kept coming, whether you were ready or not, you started to believe it. Can I ask you something directly? When did you decide that your age was the final word on your purpose? When did you hand that gavel to a calendar? Because I need you to hear this, and I need you to hear it like your life depends on it. Because spiritually, it does. God never agreed with that verdict. Look at what the scripture says in Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. He didn't say had. He didn't say once had. He said, I know. Present tense. Active. Right now. Over your life. Over this season. Over these exact years that felt wasted. God is not operating on your timeline. He never was. Yes, you delayed. Yes, you doubted. Yes. There were years you wandered. Years you grieved. Years you sat in silence so heavy it felt like God himself had gone quiet. But here is the paradox that will crack something open inside you right now. God used every single one of those years. Every closed door wasn't rejection. It was redirection. Every season, it was the press, the slow, painful, ancient press that turns ordinary olives into holy oil. You don't get oil without pressure. And you, chosen one, have been under pressure for a very long time. Think about Moses, 80 years old, 40 years in the wilderness, by every human measure, finished, forgotten. A man who missed his moment. And yet God met him at a burning bush and said, now, this is when we begin. 80 years old. And his greatest assignment hadn't even started yet. Think about Abraham, 100 years old when Isaac was placed in his arms. The promise didn't arrive early. It arrived exactly when it could carry the most glory. Think about Anna in the temple, 84 years of widowhood, of waiting, of faithful obscurity. And she was the one God chose to be standing in that exact room, on that exact morning, when the Savior of the world was carried through the door. She didn't miss it. Her waiting prepared her to recognize it. Now let me speak to you directly. No more theory, no more distance. You, sitting where you are right now with your worn hands and your long memory and your heart that has loved deeply and hurt deeply and kept going anyway. Your age is not a liability, it is a credential. The voice that has been through the fire speaks differently than the voice that only read about it. The compassion that was built through real loss reaches people that polished words never could. The faith that survived the wilderness carries a weight that untested faith simply does not have. Your scars are not evidence that you were forgotten. Your scars are the very reason your story is believable. And here is where heaven cracks wide open over your life right now. You were never too late for God. You were being walked slowly, painfully, painstakingly into the version of yourself that could finally carry what you once begged for. You begged for it at 40 and you couldn't have held it. You prayed for it at 50 and the vessel wasn't ready. But now, right now, after everything you've survived, everything you've endured, everything that tried to bury you and didn't, now the vessel is ready. And there is one more truth I need to leave burning in your spirit before we move forward. The emergency you feel right now, that fire in your chest, that restlessness that won't leave, that sense that something is pressing on you from the inside out. That is not proof that God rejected you. That is proof that heaven refuses to let you sleep through your own arrival. The alarm isn't punishment. It's your invitation. If you believe, even by a thread, even through the tears, even through every reason your mind is giving you right now to doubt it, if you believe that God can still use this season of your life, type it right now. I am not too late. Say it out loud if you have to. Let your own ears hear it. Because what comes next is going to require you to believe it. And what comes next is the moment everything changes. Chosen one, stay with me. We are not closing this message. We are opening something. Look at everything you carried into this moment. The years that felt wasted. The prayers that felt swallowed by silence. The mornings you woke up already exhausted before the day even started. The quiet voice inside you that kept whispering, something is coming, and the louder voice that kept talking it down. None of that was random. The heaviness had meaning. The delay had architecture. God was not ignoring your cry. He was constructing the answer. And now you are standing at the threshold. Not the threshold of someone younger. Not the threshold of someone who had an easier road. Your threshold, built specifically for the weight you carry and the wisdom you earned. You do not need to become someone else to walk through it. You only need to answer as the person God has been forming all along. Ezekiel stood in a valley of dry bones, and God asked him one question that should shake you to your core right now. Can these bones live? Not were these bones alive once. Not should these bones have lived differently. Can they live now? And the answer God was waiting for was not a theological argument. It was not a perfect record. It was one breath of obedience, one spoken word over dead places. Chosen one, that valley is your life right now. And God is asking you the same question tonight. Can these bones live? Your answer in this moment determines your next season. So right now, I am not closing with a summary. I am speaking something over you. Receive this. I break every agreement you have made with delay. Every silent contract you signed with the lie that says it is too late. Every moment you looked in the mirror and disqualified yourself before God even had the chance to speak. That agreement is cancelled. It has no more authority over your next step. I renounce every word spoken over you by others, by circumstances, and by your own tired mind that said you were finished before your assignment was complete. Those words do not get the final say. God's word does. And his word says in Jeremiah 29:11, The plans he has for you are not of harm, they are of a future, they are of hope. That was written for people who had already lost everything. That promise was not for the comfortable. It was for the ones who felt exactly the way you feel tonight. Now I bless your mind with clarity that cuts through every fog the enemy planted. I bless your heart with courage that does not wait until fear disappears but moves forward while fear is still in the room. I bless your home with a peace so specific, so undeniable, that everyone who walks through your door will feel that something has shifted. I bless your next step with confirmation. Not the confirmation of applause, the confirmation of a quiet knowing that says, this is the direction. Walk. I pray right now for the restoration of confidence that life stole from you. Not arrogance, not performance. The holy, grounded confidence of a person who knows they were placed here on purpose, for purpose. And that purpose has not expired. I pray for the strength to release what cannot come with you into this next chapter. Certain grudges, certain fears, certain versions of yourself that were never the real you to begin with. Let them go. They were never yours to carry this far. I pray for discernment sharp, immediate, unmistakable, so that when the quiet door opens, you will not miss it. You will not explain it away. You will not wait for someone else's permission to walk through what God Himself swung open for you. Chosen one, your eyes are opening before dawn. Right now, in this very moment, a mantle is being placed on tired shoulders. Not because you earned it in the last season, because you survived it. And survival, in God's economy, is not the consolation prize. It is the credential. The dry bones are receiving breath. The lamp that flickered is being lifted again. And somewhere in your spirit, beneath the exhaustion, beneath the questions, beneath all the years of almost, you hear it. Your name, called out clearly, by the one who knew you before you were formed. This felt like an emergency, because it is one. Not because you are running out of time, but because your next chapter is not coming to visit you, it is coming to claim you. And a chapter like that does not knock politely twice. Do not go back to sleep in a season that was sent to wake you up. Type right now, I will not go back to sleep. Let heaven and earth record that decision. Tonight, pray over this message again in the quiet. Let it settle into places that noise cannot reach. Share this with the one person in your life who has been carrying the same heaviness but could not find the words for it. They need this tonight as much as you did. And when this ends, do not rush back into noise. Sit with what God just uncovered. Because what was buried in you was never dead. It was always just waiting for this moment to breathe.